This video is going to get dark because for the first time ever, if you're not holding crypto, you're at massive risk. You're about to see with abundant clarity that we're about to enter one of the biggest bull runs in crypto history, one of the biggest moves and the most profitable moves ever. But unlike past runs, this is one of the first times ever, if you're not holding crypto right now, you're at massive risk. You're going to watch your savings deflate. You're going to watch other assets not move. You're going to watch other people's net worth explode as certain types of assets like real estate or the dollar and very specific stocks start to evaporate. And you can see BlackRock, all the institutions, all the governments making these moves in preparation. If you miss this in the next coming days or weeks, when this starts, you're just going to wake up. Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be charging. The bull run's underway. All the good entries are gone, and you're having to play big, risky catch up, which is why I'm begging of thee, just give me 10 minutes to show this to you. It's going to be abundantly clear. It's going to allow you to make stupid gains from, frankly, this move that's not really that great for normal people. And if you know where to look, there are still tons of 10, 20, 30x entries on some mid-cap and low-cap coins that are just sitting completely obvious. If you've seen from the last few videos, I pointed out a few, the pumps are already starting. But the big move hasn't happened and the coins are about to go because again, what I'm about to show you that's going on in chain, specifically with what BlackRock is doing, specifically what the banks are building, specifically what the governments are building, and the IPOs and everything that's hitting general finance, it's going to be stupid clear that this move is about to happen, and those that see it are going to benefit greatly. Those that don't are going to have to be fleeing into it late. And if they're too late in the next coming weeks, they're actually going to leave in loss even if they make the move. So listen to me right now, because unlike other videos, this video is about survival. And what I'm going to be covering is mainly big, safer, specific coins and moves you can get into to avoid this or at least hedge against it. And then yes, in this video, like other videos, I will be mentioning some mid and low caps that I think are going to do 10, 20x's from here. They're just sitting there, perfect entries. Trust me, they'll be in this video, but the overall message is much more important. So let's begin. So the first thing we need to talk about is the moves that are happening right now. And then I will get into specific coins. And you will see some dank 20, 30xers in this video. But we need to talk about this first. Now, the first thing you should do is subscribe and like this video. Why? My meme coin is going to release at 3,500 ETH, which is coming soon. People that are subscribed and have been liking these videos and also follow and like my post on Twitter, you're going to get preferential treatment on the whitelist. This means you're going to be in the list of people that's going to be able to get this meme coin 100% free. When we launch the whitelist, I can easily scrape who's subscribed, who's been liking the most, pull that, and then give you guys preferential treatment, and then give my most engaged followers preferential treatment. So take a second, hit the like button, subscribe, so you can lock that in. I think the meme coin is going to be juicy, and I'm taking zero of it. I make $0 from it. I'm giving it all to my subscribers and followers. So let's talk about this move. So look, I don't know if you've been following me on Twitter, but I've been pointing out some very specific things. We can just scroll through here. We can see the IPO for Circle skyrocketing. We can see the Treasury buying back tons of debt. We can see Apple, Airbnb, virtually every single big company incorporating crypto. We can see BlackRock grabbing up and stockpiling ETH. We can see big banks starting to focus on stable coins, creating their own coins and incorporating it into their banks. We can see Ethereum literally hitting all-time lows in supply on exchanges. Companies left and right in crypto are starting to IPO and the valuations are ending up insane. Trump's literally about to fire Powell. This means rates are probably going to come down. The UK is getting into it. Trump is passing new deals to stockpile crypto. The global money supply is exploding. And one of the creme de la cremes on all of this is BlackRock is getting approval for staking for ETH ETFs. That's a lot of stuff coming at you very, very quickly. What does this mean in reality? It really means this. This is the overall summary of this. I'm going to break down why each of these steps right here. It overall means this, that in the background, all the biggest money in the entire world is fleeing out of dollars, fiat, and into crypto right now. Every single big power player is incorporating decentralized finance into what they are doing. Every single major investor fund, every single big conglomerate of money is working to give their investors access to crypto. And also with the ETH ETF passing, this means that it is going to be one of the hottest investment assets that's ever existed. On top of this, we are seeing crazy amounts of money starting to be printed. More liquidity than ever is able to enter the market right now with very high hopes with inflation being low that rates are about to start dropping. This is going to be a nuclear bomb if you wrap this all together. Let me explain why. And it really all ties into Ethereum and altcoins. I think Bitcoin's going to do very well right here, but the story of this year is going to be Ethereum and altcoins, and I'll explain why. Because what we're seeing right now is not like other cycles where the demand was generated purely by speculation. We are looking at the first cycle ever where the demand is generated by actual demand. I want you to look at it this way. In the past, we had this big, giant island of land, and everybody buying land there really didn't know what it was going to be used for. They just rushed on there and said, this is probably going to be very useful someday. This is what crypto has been. But nobody was coming to the land. Nobody was demanding to use it. Nobody was mining it for oil or whatever. What is happening right now is instead of a bunch of degenerate, neck-bearded, 5'2", sweaty guys like you, my followers, I know you. I know you're sitting there with your man boob shirt off, your Naruto costume on, standing at a mean 5'2", neck beard, cleanly unshaven, bristling in the wind of your studio apartment air conditioning unit. I know, I see you there. This video is for you. Don't worry, things are about to turn around. But instead of people like that coming into the island and buying right now, we are seeing the biggest money in the entire world suddenly realizing how important this island is, and they are moving into it. It's not other degenerates buying our bags this time. It's not like low-key degenerate McAfee-like millionaires buying. It is the biggest money in the entire world, and they are buying up all the land, and they're not telling anybody about it. They're not putting it on the news. They're trying to keep it very subtle so the price doesn't skyrocket while they all move in. But what is happening, if you look on chain, you look at all the buying that's going on, you look at what's going on in exchanges, you look at what's happening with the dollar, what is happening is that land is starting to run out because it's very finite. They cannot keep it quiet anymore. They cannot hold the price down. It is just, it's out. It's starting to run out. And what's going to happen when this speculation happens, particularly on Ethereum, because this is all going to be based around DeFi. This is going to change the entire world because it's essentially Internet 2.0. Every single trade, every single part of ownership, every aspect of how we interact with each other financially is going to be on chain. It is going to be decentralized, and Ethereum is going to be the big asset for this initially. And we're going to see Ethereum start climbing up because of the things I'm about to show you right here. And when that's going to happen, it's going to trigger massive speculation in all altcoins. And this is going to spill over not just to the mid-low caps that us degenerates like to play in, but into the big decentralized finance coins as well. And so we're going to see, actually, for the first time, true demand for Ethereum and decentralized finance that's going to cause massive speculation in everything underneath it. And that's where we're going to make a lot of money at. So the main reason it's going to start happening is this, and this is all works together to make one perfect storm. The global money supply is exploding like crazy. China in particular is just flooding the markets with money for all sorts of reasons. I'm not going to give you some big money supply analysis, whatever. I'm just going to tell you this is what's happening right now. More money being printed means two things. More money that's able to enter the market, and also inflation and the value of dollars and fiat is going to start probably dropping again. Or at least that's the fear that's going to be triggered. Are we going to get massive inflation again? I think kind of so, because if you look at the big spat that's been going on with Elon Musk and Trump right now, I'm sure you've seen it. They were doing really, really well together. Then Trump gave Elon one negative thing and said, hey, you know, we're not going to bounce the budget quite yet. Elon called him a pedophile. This is a reasonable response when you disagree with people. If you're ever at a bar and someone doesn't like your favorite sports team, call them a pedophile. If you are ever having a debate with your parents and your parents are like, hey, I think you should go to college, you'd be like, hey, I think you're a pedophile. If your wife or your girlfriend is ever like, hey, you know, I don't think you should be out till 3 a.m. in the morning with other girls. I don't think you should be out drinking every single night. You should just be like, yeah, but baby, you consider that maybe you are a pedophile. This is the best way to argue with people. It is a very strong argument. The logic behind it stands true. It is science. So of course, Elon, being the scientific, very smart man he is, he whipped out this argument, instantly won on Trump on Twitter. Trump's like, you know what? You got a point. But then they got together and he's like, look, Elon, I know you made a really great point. Look, I know you point out I didn't see it, but maybe I am a pedophile. Who knows? That was a really great argument. But through the clarity you've given me by claiming that I like to bang small children, I've actually realized we are fucked. And jokes aside, what Elon and Trump have both realized is that the US dollar is almost unsavable at this point. They have printed too much of it. It's a mess. And so we're seeing the US government really starting to up the debt cap, print more money. We're seeing the same exact bullshit that triggered the massive run in 2020. If you don't remember, this is about when COVID happened and Biden, the US government, was like, hey, you know what would be a really good idea? Like, you know that dollar, that like finite thing, we really need to like keep its value, like the thing that makes the prices for everything. Like, we should just like double it. And then like the amount we double, we should just like give it to ourselves and then like other people. And then we could just pump everything. That's what they decided to do. And so they printed like 40%, 50% of all the money in supply. And this is the result of it. This is the exact same thing we saw happen here. We're seeing it start to happen right here. And funny enough, you're starting to see Bitcoin and all the assets following the same exact path of this money supply. That's probably the biggest driving factor right here. But for the first time ever, we're seeing crypto like I talked about before, that island that everybody was wanting to move to, it's not being bought up by degenerate people who are trying to like front run all these banks and all these institutions. The institutions and banks are front running everybody else in this instance right here. And crypto is becoming the hottest asset in the entire world. It's not in the news yet because they're not going to tell you about it till it's too late. But first and foremost, the dollar is looking very bad right now. And when that happens, that's very good for crypto. Now, where is the dollar going to go? First things first, Bitcoin. For the first time ever, Bitcoin has the bid of being the reserve asset. It is seriously in conversation. If we scroll through my feed of endless copium, you can see a lot of things I'm talking about. We can see China growing and pumping everything, adding all this type of money in. But we can also see, on top of all my other random bookmarks that have nothing to do about this, did you know rapamycin can extend the life of mice by 30%? You should really start injecting that in your body. But if you go around and do your research, you're going to see every giant company is starting to build blockchain assets. That's really cool. But on top of that, every huge company is buying Bitcoin and bits of Ethereum in billion-dollar clips. So I've seen so many companies just in the past week commit to buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. America is committing to buying Bitcoin. Every giant thing that has money on planet Earth is committing to buy Bitcoin because it's being viewed as a reserve asset, giving Bitcoin a really stable buy pressure that's going to stop it from, in my opinion, doing these massive dumps that we've seen in other cycles. I'm not saying it's not going to be volatile. By all means, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that for the first time, money's flooding into it and it's seriously just looking to hold and accumulate it. It's not looking to speculate because the dollar is looking really bad right now. And you can even see like the EU and everyone's throwing in the towel right now and just saying like, this is the place to go. This is the place to move. They're all focusing on it. The banks, everybody's working in decentralized finance. And you're seeing every big money-making institution starting to break their neck to get into the blockchain technology. And so what they're going to be piling into is called decentralized finance. This is basically what Ethereum is. Now, if you don't know what decentralized finance is, I'm not going to explain to you because I know you don't truly fucking care. You're just here to see bags get pumped, make a ton of money, show up to Thanksgiving this year, short as fuck, with your new trad wife, girlfriend, all smug and shit, and just reminding your grandparents and everybody how extremely poor they are. I know that's what you're here for. That's what you're going to get. Trust me, so soon you'll be so rich that at Thanksgiving you won't even be flushing your own shit. You'll call your uncle over, you'll look him in the eye, stare him down till he flushes the commode for you. That's what you have to look forward to if you keep watching this channel. But what decentralized finance is, it's just moving everything that we do in our day-to-day life onto the chain in a way that's decentralized so other people can't control it and move it around, and everything is verifiable. You guys know the spiel. We've been saying the spiel for like a decade in crypto, but no one's been listening. Now everybody is listening. And the cornerstone of this is going to be ETH. That is why you are going to see all these huge institutions like BlackRock, banks, everybody that really has any money, they are just flooding into ETH because of what's about to happen on it and how they're about to pump it, which I'm about to talk about. But long story short, crypto is serious now. Everyone's moving into it with more money that's being printed ever while the dollar looks terrible. Governments are even buying like America. Now, here's where it gets really juicy. In the past, crypto's been mostly just a joke. It's not a place where people go and seriously invest. We just saw Circle drop on the stock exchange. It did 300% in its first 2 days. It's one of the most successful IPOs ever. Crypto is now becoming one of the hottest Wall Street finance investing schemes ever. And they're going to pick up on something that we've known for tons of years. You can just scam the shit out of everybody in crypto. You can launch complete vaporware and make tons of money. But they've been cut off because they have laws and regulations they have to follow. But for the first time ever, all these laws and regulations are being wiped away. And all the Wall Street pros, the same people that have been pumping and dumping stuff on us since 1902, they're like, they're starting to rub their hands together, get all greedy, getting all sweaty, licking their lips, fully erect in the office. It's a very weird place in Wall Street right now. If you're a woman, I think it's going to bring back the Me Too movement because dudes are just walking around the offices straight up erect all day long. Very uncomfortable experience. I'm glad I work from home. But it's beating even tech companies in its IPO. And so this is turning crypto, we can see Gemini about to go an IPO right here, into one of the hottest investment schemes ever. So it's getting a really good vibe, really good look right now. And then finally, the narrative that's coming into this is that Trump is also going to be firing Powell. So he's just basically going to force rates to be lowered while they print money. This is just the trifecta of any risk-on asset. And the best risk-on asset in the world right now, from everyone's point of view, from degenerates, from governments, from giant companies to Wall Street, is crypto. Now, here's where everything comes together in the horniest bulge you've ever seen. It's all about the ETH ETF. Why? Okay, so BlackRock has been buying insane amounts of Ethereum lately. Every big financial institution has been buying a ton of Ethereum, but particularly BlackRock, because they are going and prodding the government to allow staking. So if you don't know what staking is, it basically means you can stake your ETH. It means you can't sell it. And then in turn, you start getting more ETH passively. So that sounds pretty cool because you can make money passively. That's neaterific, okay? This is a pretty common thing in stocks and treasuries and any yield asset that you have. But if you look at crypto, it's never had this before with traditional investing. But Ethereum is very special. Here is why. Because when investors go and invest in things, say you invest in oil is not going to give you dividends. It's a resource that everybody has, but if you go and invest in gold, oil, whatever, it's not going to give you dividends. You're not going to get a check from it every single month. You have to go and invest in tech stock or a cash flowing stock. But cash flowing stocks don't pump and move super hard. So like if you're going to do that, you're just basically getting passive income from those stocks. They're not that sexy. They don't move like tech stocks like Facebook or Nvidia or big speculative stocks either. Those stocks don't really pay much dividends. But what Ethereum is about to do is Ethereum is the trifecta of all these worlds that people look for. When people invest in gold and oil, they're looking to invest in a resource that's finite. When they invest in tech stocks, they're looking for something that's going to go up and be over speculated on. And when they invest in treasuries and yielded assets, they're looking for something that gives them passive income. ETH is about to be all three of these things. It's a resource that you have to use to operate in decentralized finance. All these banks, all these companies are moving into it. Everybody that's moving on chain is going to have Ethereum to operate. It's a resource. Next, it's highly super duper speculative. It goes up. In this case right here, but it starts moving like Bitcoin 10, 20% a year on average. Now, I know Ethereum's been terrible lately. Please just bear with me here. People are expecting it to move at least like Bitcoin. If it moves just like Bitcoin does, which isn't that crazy compared to other cryptos, that's the juiciest, craziest investment scheme you've ever seen. Like for traditional investors doing 20% a year, ridiculous. Now, on top of that, like tech stocks with the speculation, it can move up very rapidly, but unlike those tech stocks, it's going to deliver you passive dividends where you get paid in ETH to own it. And that then increases as well, making this an insane institutional grade investment. And the thing that BlackRock is trying to push right now is to allow themselves to be able to stake the ETH to get that passive income coming from it. Once that happens, this is the sexiest investment asset in all of crypto, while crypto is becoming the #1 risk on asset in the entire world and a safe haven for where people are going to store their money while the dollar and all this stuff is exploding, while governments are being extremely irresponsible with their budgets and with money printing. And it's resulting in the #1 argument against all this, that they might all be pedophiles. Because if we get down to the science of all of this, the reason why they're all being irresponsible and all these disagreements are coming from is they are all some Michael Jackson motherfuckers, and to hide all of it, they have to print money. I don't... But for real, backing up to this is the perfect storm, guys. This is the absolute perfect storm, and the storm is going to be happening on Ethereum. Now, here's where we make a lot of money, and here's where people that don't have the access to crypto start to lose everything. So look, this is all going to come down to Ethereum. Ethereum is the asset to hold right now. It's the big safe asset to hold, in my opinion. But everything is going to start going up. We're going to see Bitcoin and all this stuff going up from the liquidity pressure and everything that's happening. And then we're going to see not just Bitcoin go up, but one thing that's always happened in last runs is Bitcoin's been very susceptible to outflows in the altcoins, because people that were buying Bitcoin were also buying all these other coins down here. And so whenever these coins started to move, they'd sell their Bitcoin and buy these coins. This really hurt Bitcoin. But for the first time ever, we have billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of governments and institutions buying Bitcoin to have no intention to trade or flip this stuff. They're not going to swing trade in and out of it. So Bitcoin is going to start going up very gradually and have a pretty solid foundation. It's not going to knock down the rest of crypto like it does every single run. Now, with all the banks, with everybody moving into it, with the ETH ETF staking going live, with all the things I just talked about, all the companies moving on the DeFi, building on the DeFi, needing Ethereum, I've made my case already. Ethereum is just simply going to pump. It's going to pump and it's going to go up bigly, and it's going to be the #1 talked about asset that BlackRock and everybody's been buying. Trump holds an insane amount of Ethereum. BlackRock, I believe, holds like 4 billion or something in it right now. All these places are not buying this because they think it's going to go down. They know what's about to happen. They know how the banks and everything is starting to move. All these people are talking about what their plans are. It's going to be built on Ethereum, or at least speculatively built on Ethereum. This is going to cause massive speculation on Ethereum. And then what is going to happen is Ethereum is going to pump maybe $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I don't know where it stops this run. I'm not here to call tops in this video. What that's going to trigger is then massive speculation on all these coins right here, because people are going to ask themselves, what's the next Ethereum? Where do I catch the next thing that's going to run to hundreds of billions of dollars? This is going to be where all of our gains come from in these coins right here. So without further ado, here's the moves we should be making. First off, people that are holding dollars and everything, look, I don't know if we're going to see inflation come back. I'm not smart enough to call that. If you watch these videos, I have a baboon IQ. I don't claim to be a smart person in these videos. I'm just looking at the writing on the wall, the poo that's been flung, and I'm reading it like tea leaves. So people that are holding dollars and fiat money, it just looks really risky right now. We have them buying back tons of debt. We have them printing more money. We have every country in the world lowering rates while printing money, which is a trifecta for inflation. We have Powell about to be fired. It looks like the dollar could be a really bad place to be again. And risk on assets are where people are going to want to be, or people are going to at least want to protect their money. Bitcoin is the asset that's going to do that. And so we're going to start seeing all this speculation in Ethereum and Bitcoin going up. And we're going to see people that are holding a lot of dollars are the treasuries, which, for example, I forgot to mention this earlier in the video, are at record amounts right now. There's never been more money sidelined in treasuries and these little safe hubs for dollars. This is the highest it's ever been. All that money is going to suddenly go, oh shit, and start having to flood into safe haven assets or safe haven risk assets like Bitcoin to protect their net worth, because inflation is going to be happening probably, but more so, everybody's going to be getting commonly rich in risk assets, which the hottest ones will be crypto. And then they're going to need to flood in FOMO into this. And we're going to see people that are holding the dollar being left behind. And that's going to cause them to FOMO into all this. Now, when Ethereum starts moving and they've missed the pump right there, they're going to FOMO into and try to gamble on the top altcoins for the first time in literally forever. It's been like 4 or 5 years since people really started getting into these. Solana, Cardano, hell, even Tron. And these are just things I would pick off the top of my head. I think Hype's going to do very well. Sui. As you know, on this channel, we don't know how to pronounce Sui. Whenever I say the word Sui, I picture a Frenchman smoking a cigarette and just being like, yeah, it's fair today. And that's how I picture it. So that's how we're going to say it. Sui! That's the coin. That's the name of it. It's on their website. But if I had to pick, I'm going to start going and just grabbing all these basic coins. Now, if I had to pick any of them from here that's the most useful, it'd be Chainlink, because everything that's built has to use Chainlink. But if we're starting from the top, I'd go with Cardano, Hype, Sui, Chainlink, AVAX. I think DOT is about to make a big run. I don't know why. Something in my jellies is telling me it's about to make a big run. And I think Monero, which is a privacy coin, which is basically money you can't track for everybody that's trying to hide everything they're doing, which is actually very important for crypto. I think that's going to make a massive run as well. And you can literally just kind of stop it right there. We can go into other assets on here, but if we're just looking to protect our money and make some pretty decent X's, look, this doesn't need to be complicated. Ethereum's going to run, and then these ones below it are just going to give bigger X's. If Ethereum gives a 2, 3X from here, these ones are going to give 5, 6, 7, and 8X's as we get lower and lower down. It's like, for example, I think AVAX could give an 8X from here. No problem. Easily can get to a 60 billion. And I think Cardano could easily give like a 5 or a 4X and get to 100 billion or even more. And so you can just keep it really simple. And if you're like a newish investor and you're new to crypto, I really don't advise you to do anything beyond that. A lot of people come to this channel, I think I'm suggesting that you come and buy and trade coins. No, that's like the black diamond of this. This is for people that have been doing this for like 5 years. I know none of you guys listen to that warning or read the disclaimers that I pump up for 5 minutes every single one of these videos telling you you're going to lose all your money. This is financial suicide. But the God's honest truth is you can just keep it simple right now. You are extremely early. We have just started to see Ethereum start moving, and people are still they really aren't even aware about these coins right here. The vast majority of people don't know that any of these coins even exist. So you could just call it a day right there. Now, let's get into some of the higher return ones. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to give you some of the low cap, mid cap ones. I think they can 10, 20x near the end of this video. So just stay tuned for that if you're a massive degenerate. But I want to give you some big chunky ones where you can just kind of build like very beginner portfolios in these that will probably do very well. The places you want to be looking at right now is going to be AI and RWA coins. Why? AI, hottest other narrative in the entire world right now. It's going to spill over in crypto. It's just that simple. RWA is basically taking everything we do in the real world and converting it to blockchain, which ties into everything we've been talking about in more traditional investing, turning stocks in the blockchain, turning real estate in the blockchain, turning automotive and cars in the blockchain. Everything will be put onto blockchain, and that's what RWA is. And so that's why there's going to be massive speculation on that, because big money is going to be moving into RWA. That's what they're doing right now, turning real world assets like oil, stocks, anything, land into blockchain. Here's some places that are going to get the best pumps from that narrative that are also kind of simple for someone that's kind of new to this. Again, if you want the kind of pumpier, crazier coins, stay till the end of the video. So in AI, where you want to start at, just get BitTensor. It's going to do phenomenal numbers. I think that's going to do super duper well. And then there's a lot of good coins on here, but if I wanted two kind of larger coins that are probably going to do very well and give giant returns, I would probably start at Destra Network, ZigChain, and then I really, again, just a good old classic PAL. These are three really big things in AI right now, really well-known assets that are not going to go anywhere in the space. PAL's been around forever. Destra's been the hottest coin since forever. And Zig's a really new chain technology that could get to really high levels. It's particularly like the levels up here because it's in the same type of technology category as these larger chains up here. So if I was going to build a mini AI portfolio, that's just where I would be at. There's a ton of other AI coins I can talk about that we're investing in this channel. We'll get into this here in a second. Those are just some very simple recommendations. I would also maybe throw AOS into that. And if you want to research some of these coins up here, people always get mad at me for not mentioning like Internet Computer or Near or Virtuals. Those are all great coins too. I just think they're going to get similar gains to Tau, so I'm just going to be all in Tau. So if we're looking at RWA assets, this one's a little bit less developed, and I think the pumpier gains will actually be from RWA. I think AI is going to be much bigger, but I think the RWA gains are going to be higher multiples just because they're coming from a lower point right now. So where I would get started at in RWA I'd start at Ondo. Just keep it really simple. Get one of the bigger ones on here. I also really like, just from this list right here, Ori chain. I think that's going to do numbers. I think Lumia is really good. And one coin I recently just got into and have been into for a while, but just got a really big bag of, is Clearpool. So much so that I've actually started consulting for them and advising that company as well, just being fully transparent right there. I also consult for money, by the way. But I've been bullish on Clearpool for a very long time, and we'll probably get more into it in my RWA video that's probably going to be coming in the new studio next week or sometime. But this ties deeply into loans, people moving around money, leveraging money, and getting access to capital markets, which is going to just be like, that's the absolute core thing that's going on in crypto right now. It's taking everything that we've been doing in banks with interest and loans and everything, and just putting it on chain, making it billions of times more optimal and functional. So that's where I would be starting at an RWA. I'd go Ondo, Clearpool, maybe some of those other things that I mentioned. I like Ori chain. There's a lot of other ones on here that I think can do serious numbers. Pinlink, I think, is probably going to be one of the biggest runners. This kind of has like the Destra effect in RWA. And that's where I would be kind of stopping at if I wanted to keep a simple portfolio in RWA and AI. Now, when it comes to the really pumpy AI and the really pumpy RWA coins, I've made a list that's going to pop up right here and also link to it in the description that covers all the really high multiple AI and RWI, and then gaming and other assets I think are going to pump super hard. That's kind of more like the black diamond for experts in crypto. So I'm not going to put in this video because what I mainly want to point out in this video is that what is going on right now in the world is the perfect storm for crypto. We have never seen a more perfect opportunity like this, where money is being printed, rates are likely lowering, every single institution in the world is already buying and keeping it mum, and it's becoming one of the hottest assets in the traditional finance Wall Street world. On top of that, there's actual demand for decentralized finance for the first time ever, while governments and everybody is stockpiling it up. And the thing is, these are all hitting all-time lows on exchanges. There's less of it than ever before. It's becoming extremely scarce. That island that I told you about earlier in this video, it is just simply running out of land, and all the richest people in the world are moving there right now, and they're trying to keep it very quiet, but simply the secret's getting out. And as soon as the secret starts to get out, all the normal people are going to start buying there as well, and it's just going to be like New York City. You had all the people move in there originally, buy up land, and now everybody's going to be paying 10 times the price that it was before here really soon. So that's the video today. If you want to see the more pumpy, high multiple coins, the crazy stuff that people come for crypto for, it's going to be right here, linked, and also in the description. This video has been long enough. I'll see you in the next one in the new studio. Goodbye. 天地